Pardon the interruption, but I'm Mike Wilbon. I don't know if I can take another last-second Bears win.
I'm Tony Kornheiser. Got you. Bears, Wilbon would prefer that you lose.
No.
So
But they're
you can
taking
take it.
at least months off my life.
Well,
Every week, it's the same game.
But Northwestern did the same thing, except Northwestern lost.
Tough weekend.
So, yeah.
I needed a split.
Are you checking out soon? I just want to know.
I needed a split.
You got a split. You're okay.
I'm excited.
Welcome to PTI, boys and girls. In today's episode, the Rams and Eagles post big wins. The Bills top the Bucs, and the Bears come back again. But we begin today with the Denver Broncos beating their arch rivals, the Kansas City Chiefs, yesterday, 22-19 on a last-second field goal. Denver is now 9-2. Kansas City is now 5-5, and this is the latest in the season. The Chiefs have been 500 since before Patrick Mahomes became their starter. Wilbon, what does this result say to you about each team?
Tony, this was a big swing game because I expected the Chiefs to win. I kept waiting on Mahomes to have a moment that eclipsed Denver, and it didn't come. And as I did say Friday, Denver's tough at home. Just like Kansas City's tough at home. Denver is a better team right now. I don't know if they'll be that in February. They're a better team right now. That defense is really difficult. If Mahomes and Andy Reid coming out of a bye can't solve it, then it's a pretty damn good defense. All right?
Yeah.
They now control the division.
Yeah.
And the Kansas City Chiefs, who are like tied for ninth with some people, like maybe the Jaguars, and they've lost.
Oh, they're behind the Jaguars.
They're behind the Jaguars. Yeah. They're going to have to, first of all, play their way into a wild card spot, which now means road doesn't go through Kansas City and Arrowhead. It doesn't.
All true.
And so it may go through Denver, and Denver's as good as anybody in the AFC right now. You mentioned the best record.
I'm not going to disagree with anything you said, including the fact that I thought they would win. I thought they would win because they were coming out of a bye, and Andy Reid is 22-4. Coming out of buys. And I thought they would win because I thought it was more important to them than it was to Denver. So I'm a little bit shocked at what is going on here. But I'll say this, and maybe you felt the same way. These are not last year's Chiefs. Nope. Last year's Chiefs were 11-0 in one-score games. This year's Chiefs are 0-5.
You know how many straight games they won, one-score games overall, going back further? 17.
Well, they're 0-5 this year.
0-5.
And Patrick Mahomes wasn't great yesterday.
No, he wasn't.
He wasn't last year's Patrick Mahomes. He had a bad interception. He had inopportune sacks. I thought when Kelsey went into the end zone, I thought this is it. Yeah. Chiefs are going to win as I expected. But the next and last two times they had their hands on the ball, they went 3 and out. Denver is what you say they are. Denver is now 7-2 in one-score games. The analogous team to me in the other conference is the Philadelphia Eagles, a team that seems to play defense first, but their offense is good enough. Denver has now won 3 in a row, one-score games over the following people: Kansas City, the Raiders, and Houston. Not great. 6 of 7, including the Giants, the Jets, and the Eagles. But 2 of those wins are Kansas City and the Eagles. Yeah. Those are big-time wins. And I will say, Bo Nix, the analogy for me is to Jalen Hurts. Not a flashy guy, but quietly competent, seems to know what he's doing. I understand why Sean Payton got rid of Russell Wilson and brought in Nix. Mike, the top, unlike the NFC, the top of the AFC is all surprises. It's Indianapolis, it's Denver, it's New England. It's all surprises.
It might still be Buffalo, too. We
I'm just saying right now, that's the top.
Now. Here's what, to me, the bottom line on that game is yesterday in Denver. They've earned our benefit of the doubt for now.
100%.
Yeah.
100%. Won the game.
Right? Yeah. Let's move to the NFC's marquee games in which defense ruled the day and night. The Rams shut Seattle down. Intercepted Sam Darnold 4 times en route to a 21-19 win. The Eagles' defense smothered the Lions, limited Jared Goff to 38% passing, and Detroit to just 9 points. Tony, which win impressed you more?
Well, it's not going to be the Rams, because the Rams should have won that game by 20 points. Yeah. They intercepted Darnold 4 times, so much for you anointing him as the MVP in the league.
Not the MVP.
Right? But the Rams...
But they almost won. Seattle
let me get to this. They didn't cash in. The Rams did not cash in. They didn't cash in. And so, amazingly, they were 5 feet away from losing that game. A 61-yard field goal attempt goes wide right by 5 feet in the last play of the game. So it's not going to be them. So for me, it's going to be the Eagles. right? That what they did, and they win by defense as well. I've got some notes here on the Eagles. They are 8-2, and I tried to come up with an exact word that would fit them. Here's who they've beaten this year: the Rams, the Packers, the Bucks, the Chiefs, the Lions. Nobody has an array of wins like that. Nobody has an array of wins like that so far this year, right? They limited, you mentioned 9 points on this game. The week before, Green Bay, 16 points.
So those two
is all they've done.
Those two teams, yeah.
Right. So to me, the word is competent. The Eagles are just damn competent at this
Tony,
point.
I might go
they win.
beyond that, and I agree with everything you just said. I spent all late last night after this game, and as the game was waning, fighting with my friends from Philly, particularly my man Dwayne McKnight, one of my dearest friends, who I want to say shut up. So I'm telling him now on national TV to shut his mouth.
Yeah.
Because he represents a large part of Eagles Nation.
And they're unhappy.
They're unhappy because they don't score 70 points a game and they're not running up and down the field. I'm sorry. What wins championships, we're told, over the decades? Defense.
Well,
you know what they did?
They have defense.
You know what Goff did last night? Goff, raw
they
numbers.
made Goff look terrible.
14 for 37. You know whose line that is? That's a Ja Morant line at Oklahoma City. They took him out.
Yeah.
What else you want the Eagles to do? They win this way.
Here's what's interesting. They're winning the close games in the way that Denver is. They are, whatever their record is, 8-2, 9-2, it doesn't really matter. They're plus 33 in point differential. That's 11th in the league. That's not awesome. And they're doing this. And as you say, they limited Goff. I would say that right now, they are, without question, the number one seed in the NFC because they've beaten the Rams.
One.
So they're right.
One.
So if you are in Philadelphia, thank God they've stopped saying fire Nick Sirianni. They've won 24 of their last 27, including something we call the Super Bowl. So what more do you want?
We've reached the time, Sam.
I'm not saying they're great, but they're
there's
good.
So much just discussion, and there's so much media that people just have to say something, no matter how stupid it is. And no matter how just uninformed it is, 24-3, and they've beaten all comers. They're the champ. They've welcomed whomever, home or road, and taken them out. And people want more.
With good defenses, this was a bad week for Darnold and Goff. It was a bad week for them. Yeah. And they were in the discussion. Yeah. We will stay with the NFL here and talk about a couple of 7-3 teams, one of which is a complete surprise. The Bills beat Tampa Bay yesterday in a fabulous shootout, 44-32. Josh Allen personally accounted for 6 touchdowns and a fantasy football score of about 6 million. And your Bears might beat Minnesota on a last-second field goal, beat them on the road in division. Well, but of course, this question comes to you, being a Bears fan. Which 7-3 team do you think more highly of?
This isn't close. It's Buffalo.
Oh, come on, have some
Buffalo
guts.
Has a win
have some guts. Pick the Bears. Pick the Bears.
City. See, here's what I do. I watch the Bears every snap, like you watch the Nats.
I do love the Nats.
Except the Bears having a little better season than the Nats.
That's right.
And I'm thrilled to win these games, even though you know, because you're on the phone with me, late in the fourth quarter. How does this go every week?
So angry.
I want to fire
everybody.
And bench
Offensive
everybody.
Want to fire everybody
until the last play of the game.
Yeah.
And they win.
Yeah.
Start the Commanders, field goal, last play of the game. Yeah. Raiders, block, field goal, last play of the game. This is what they do. God bless them. I'm not going to complain. You beat the bad teams that are in front of you. And Joe Gibbs said something I know you and I agree with. We learn from it. We don't agree. It's Joe Gibbs. He said you win first, then you get good.
Yeah.
And I keep hoping that for the Bears, but they're not Buffalo. Buffalo, one sentence, Buffalo beat Kansas City. We don't have any win like that.
Look, this is a very gutless performance from you because you love the Bears so much.
I
wanted you to pick the Bears so that I could say, in fact, I would have picked the Bears myself, but it's an irrational pick.
Yeah.
But just so I could get you to recount that at the beginning of the season and through the first 2 games, you said, I fear they're going to go 0-5.
That's an exact
So they
point.
went 0-2, and then they have won 7 of their last 8 games. And amazingly, they are doing this. You know what their point differential is?
Minus 6. I do know.
How is that possible? How could you have this record and be minus 6?
Well, they got blowed out by Detroit 52-something, so that covers a lot of points right there.
And I think more highly of Buffalo. Buffalo had to win that game. Buffalo had lost to a terrible team in a terrible game, Miami, the week before. And Josh Allen knew that he had to be good or he would be lambasted for not being good. So how does 6 touchdowns sound to you? It's something that you could use. Right?
The reigning MVP.
Yes.
But, Tony, the Bears had to win that game to go up to Minnesota after they let this rookie punk quarterback, and I say that sort of love him
want
because
to
he's a
just
Chicago
10
kid.
seconds.
They lost to him. They had to beat him in
J.J.
a rematch.
McCarthy.
J.J. McCarthy.
Okay. This is what I fear for you. I'm going to give you your upcoming
I
schedule.
know the upcoming schedule.
Okay. So home Pittsburgh, which is
We
winnable.
need to win that
That's
game.
winnable.
Aaron Rodgers
At
is not.
Philly, at Green Bay. Doesn't look good. Home Cleveland, winnable. Home Packers, at
We gotta
49ers,
split with
home
the Packers to
Can
get
you
to
get
10.
to 10?
Yeah.
Can you get to 10?
Split with the Packers. Cleveland,
Are you saying 10?
Pittsburgh.
You'll get 10?
I'm saying 10.
10.
Yeah.
Let's take a
I'm not
break.
gonna get greedy.
Coming up, should we focus more on the Ravens beating the Browns or Shedeur Sanders' struggles as the Cleveland quarterback?
And Oklahoma beating Alabama grabbed the headlines, but was there a more compelling story in college football this weekend?
Can I say this?
What's that?
That Tampa Bay's a good team. They're missing a lot of parts.
They are. They
the
got
Buffalo's
injuries.
win is a good win.
They're at home. They need to win.
Pardon the Interruption is presented by Crown Royal, part of Happy Hour.
It is time to hear moans from the masses in mail time. Let me get the first one and put on my glasses so I can read it. Here we go. What was your bigger takeaway from the Ravens-Browns games? The Ravens winning again or Shedeur Sanders struggling in his debut?
It was all about Shedeur. The Ravens were going to win this game. And it's about Shedeur, with apologies to Myles Garrett, who is the greatest thing ever. But Shedeur comes in, and the only energy you've seen in that stadium in about 3 years came when that kid goes in the lineup. And he goes in and he has a couple of completed passes and he gets sacked, he throws a pick. And after the game, you realize that Kevin Stefanski, even though he's your backup quarterback coming this game, he hasn't allowed this kid to have one snap with the regulars. And he has to admit this. And all these coaches double down on what they do to put their players in an advantageous position. This is garbage. And by the way, let me go back and rip Dan Campbell for having his quarterback, and he calls the plays now, Goff, throw it 37 times with Gibbs and Montgomery. That's bad coaching in a one-score game with those guys. I don't want to hear it. And by the way, the officiating in that game was garbage too. So let's not forget any of that.
Okay.
But Shedeur, what is his coach doing to him?
Let me make sure. You have Stefanski as garbage.
Yeah.
You have Campbell as garbage.
Yesterday.
You have an officiating crew as garbage.
Yesterday.
Okay, so I'm
Yeah.
going to be brief.
Garbage.
I'm going to be brief about Shedeur Sanders.
Okay.
Who I would like to like.
Right.
He was terrible.
He was.
Okay? He was terrible.
Well, he was.
He was 4 of 16 for 47 yards and a bad interception. I assume he'll be better the next time because he cannot be worse the next time. But I want to get to something that you and I talked about on the podcast this morning. I gave you a bunch of teams. I gave you the Rams, the Eagles, the Packers, the Broncos, the Bills, and I said what was the best win, and you said the Broncos. And I understand that. The best win yesterday was the Baltimore Ravens because had they lost that game to a bad team, they're 4-6 and they're actually done.
But the Steelers, we don't know what
they would have been done because everything was momentum with them and they would have been derailed. But they won the game. And not only did they win the game, they won the game on a brilliant call. They put the tight end under center as if it's a tush push.
Yes.
And he runs around on the right-hand side. He goes 35 yards. Mark Andrews for a touchdown. Brilliant. Brilliant.
The other moves, Stefanski, not brilliant, never giving that kid a snap. And they all had to admit it.
Don't go there with me.
Stupid to you?
Stefanski's a Pennsylvania grad. Don't go there.
Well, he didn't.
Don't go there.
He was like other
Penn.
Pennsylvania grads yesterday.
Penn.
What was your most compelling result of the college football weekend?
Okay. So I could go for Oklahoma beating Alabama at Alabama because I didn't see that. I didn't see that. I didn't see that coming is what I mean. I saw the game.
I was going to say, I know
or I
you
could
watched.
go for Georgia beating Texas 35-10. And we need to stop talking about Arch Manning with our expectations. We need to stop about that. I could go for Indiana in the Big Ten beating Wisconsin 31-7 because Mr. Mendoza went 22 of 24 with 4 touchdowns. No, that's a Heisman. This is 2 Heisman weeks in a row for that kid.
The Penn State game.
But what I'm going to go for is Texas A&M. Texas A&M down 30-3 at the half to South Carolina. Now, when they come back, South Carolina did not give this game away. They didn't fumble it. They didn't throw it away. The other team scored 28-0 in the second half. So for the second week in a row, we have had an unbeaten team almost upset, grandly upset. And they come through. This is Indiana against Penn State, and this is Texas A&M against South Carolina.
Look, I watched the South Carolina-Texas.
Please talk about Northwestern.
Was fabulous. No, because that game brought me
anger.
Yes, great anger.
Tremendous anger.
We had Michigan beat in Wrigley Field, where I'm told, and I've not looked this up, somebody can correct me, it can be omissions, that Northwestern has never won a game at Wrigley. So let's get the hell out of there, even though we got Minnesota and Wrigley this week. No, the game, the most compelling win was Oklahoma, because it's at Alabama.
It's at.
Which means they'll be now trying to fire. Last week they wanted to extend their head coach, DeBoer, for 6 years.
Well, they're not
and they lose a game, and now they're going to fire him past the hat.
They're still in the running for the playoffs. I know,
but now they got no margin for error.
That's right.
That's a great win by Oklahoma.
Do you think that there will eventually be a 3-loss team from the SEC in these playoffs?
This year, yeah, they'll do it. The committee is gutless.
Well,
it's gutless. It's gutless. As a room together, you can justify anything with the SEC or Big Ten because the pressure is there anyway.
This is such a double G day for you, gutless and garbage. I'm very proud of you.
Garbage.
Email. Let's take one last break. Still to come, the Falcons get bad news on Michael Penix Jr.
And a Sixer star, my guy, ready to return to the lineup.
Remember what I told you early this morning? I don't want to hear about the Falcons anymore, the Chargers anymore. I just don't want to hear about them.
I get that.
You know, they're just, stop.
What's Dan Campbell doing going that many times for fourth down? Coach this game. Don't tell me about your culture and your DNA. Coach this game.
By Crown Royal. Please drink responsibly. Part of Happy Hour.
Happy time, people. Happy 81st birthday, Jim Boeheim. Boeheim is our longtime pal, even if he deliberately refers to my Binghamton Bearcats as the Bobcats.
So funny.
He is one of the greatest college basketball coaches ever. Boeheim is in both the college basketball and the Naismith Halls of Fame. Boeheim put Syracuse on the national map. He coached his alma mater to 5 Final Fours and won it all in 2003 when Carmelo Anthony was a freshman. Boeheim was also an assistant coach on 3 United States Olympic gold medal basketball teams. Boeheim is now an adjunct professor at Syracuse teaching sports management. We wonder what his lectures are like. So he tells stories about Melo and Pearl Washington and Derek Coleman. Is Boeheim a tough grader? Can you get an A if you insult Georgetown and St. John's?
Speaking of that, I'm honored to have been there, to have covered the Big East in those years. With Jim Boeheim and Big John and Lou Carnesecca and Raleigh,
and Jim Keller.
Gary Williams, Jim Keller. Honored to have been
Rick
there.
Pitino.
By the way, who was his best player? Boeheim's best player.
His best college player was Pearl Washington. He wasn't a great pro, but he was.
Carmelo shouted
for
us,
a year.
but we're going with Pearl.
Yeah. Happy anniversary, Bill Cartwright. On this day 44 years ago, the then Knicks center tied Bob Pettit's NBA record of 19 straight free throws made without a miss. The memorable thing about Cartwright was his unique free throw technique. It was a series of staccato mechanical moves that ended with his arms extended over his head as he flicked the ball awkwardly towards the basket. Despite this routine that seemed to become less winsome in his later years as the starting center on the Bulls' first three-peat squad, Cartwright shot a very respectable 77% from the line for his career. Cartwright was a great college player at the University of San Francisco. He remains the school's all-time leading scorer. Did you like him?
You
loved him, right?
Ring of Honor, which he should go into.
Yeah.
He anchored that team. When they traded him from New York and the Bulls gave up Charles Oakley, people went crazy at first, but it made room for Cartwright and young Horace Grant.
Okay.
And that strategy, and that's
let me ask you a question.
Gotta credit him.
Were the first three-peat better than the second three-peat?
I think the 92 team was greater than the 96 team. There's an icon GOAT who laughs at me when I say this.
Happy trails, Michael Penix Jr. Falcons suffered a season-ending knee injury during Saturday's loss to the Panthers. He will seek out a second opinion, but is out at least 4 weeks. Penix was 13 for 16 for 175 yards before getting hurt with just over 5 minutes left in the third quarter. Kirk Cousins came in. He went 6 of 14 for 48 yards. The Steelers got better news about their injured quarterback. Aaron Rodgers has a fractured left wrist, but is pushing to play on Sunday against your Bears.
Good. I want to see him at Soldier Field. Let's see if he still owns us. Yeah. Let's go.
All right, one update. Northwestern is indeed winless at Wrigley Field, and a few omissions. Jamar Chase suspended 1 game for spitting on Jalen Ramsey. Victor Wembanyama has a strained calf, will miss a few weeks.
No!
And Virginia Tech and James Franklin are finalizing an agreement for him to become the school's next head football coach.
That seems like a good fit, James Franklin and Virginia Tech, to me. Wembanyama missing a few weeks, I hate that. But I understand the precaution you take, given what that injury.
How about Jamar Chase getting
more than one game?
Yeah, spitting.
Yeah, because you know what? We've already had this year, and a guy got suspended from the Eagles for more than one game. Okay. It's awful.
You covered everything we need to cover. Let's go to the big finish.
Let's do it.
Paul George expected to make his season debut tonight at the Clippers. Is that a big deal?
I don't know if it's a big deal. The Clippers are falling and they can't get up, but I'm excited to see Paul George. The Jets are benching Justin Fields for Tyrod Taylor. Does that make sense to you?
Yes. Justin Fields doesn't gain any yards when he completes passes.
No.
The Jets are last in the league in passing. Jake Paul will fight former heavyweight champ Anthony Joshua on December 19th. You must be intrigued.
No. Jake Paul interests me not at all. And Anthony Joshua, what happened to him? He was on the way up to something and never got there. Monday Night Football tonight. Speaking of two fraudulent teams, Cowboys at Raiders. Who you got?
This would have been a great game in the 70s.
That's right.
And the 80s.
That's right.
And the 90s.
The 90s.
It's not a
nothing
no,
now.
I think it'll have great numbers, but it's not a great game. But I will take the Cowboys.
Okay.
The Pistons go for their 10th straight win tonight. Do you like their chances?
Against the Pacers in Detroit.
They're hurting.
They feel bad for them. But we know they don't have players.
Right.
So the Pistons will keep rolling.
We're out of time. We will try to do better the next time. I'm Tony Kornheiser.
And I'm Mike Wilbon. Same time tomorrow, knuckleheads. And now to get you set for Monday Night Football, here's Scott Van Pelt and the Countdown Crew.
You like this sweater and this tie? Nice. It's
like
beginning to be fall.
A little burgundy.
Yeah, it's
going
nice.
straight Commanders, really?
Let's linger.
Tony, Mike, thank you. We are in